Welcome to the We Buy Houses podcast with our host, Brian Spitz, president of Big State Homebuyers, leading the seamless approach to real estate investing in Houston since 2005. Brian's specialty in this large wholesale operation is facilitating real estate solutions for people wanting to sell quickly. Each week, we discuss the ins and outs of wholesale real estate investing and related topics by professionals who matter. And now, here's Brian.
I'm Brian Spitz, president of Big State Homebuyers. Thanks for joining us. And today, as our guest, we have Amber Carrillo with Carrington Real Estate Services.
Correct.
And we're going to talk about when is the right time to sell your house and whether or not you should rent or sell it, whether it's in this current market or just in general. So thanks so much for coming today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So tell us about renting your home or selling it.
Well, when it comes to renting your home or selling it, there's just so many different factors. A lot of it is going to depend on you and personal finances and what works best for your situation. Are you in a situation where you need to sell your house in order to buy another one? Or are you in a situation where you're going to be a long-distance landlord? There's so many factors that go into that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, a lot of it, I guess, is whether or not you need the down payment from the equity of your first house, or whether your mortgage lender requires that you only have one loan.
Exactly.
When you see people rent houses out, see, my experience at Big State Homebuyers, we buy houses directly from sellers, and one of our biggest client bases is actually, funny word, as tired landlords, people that have been landlords and want out of the business. So what I tell people is it's not as easy as it looks. But what is your experience? Of course, it works out really well for some people, especially if you get the right tenants.
Right.
But what do you see for the average person who is thinking about renting their home rather than selling?
Well, if you do not have the experience, I would absolutely recommend that you contract that out to someone to handle the property management. Because there's just so many different laws, you know, tenant rights and landlord rights, and you really need to be studied up on those types of things. If not, have a really good real estate attorney in your corner that you can call whenever a question or situation arises. When it comes to doing evictions and stuff like that, it can get really hairy. So it's not something that you would always want to handle, you know, hands-on.
Oh yeah, definitely not. And so the biggest reason people try to take that on themselves is basically to save the money that you pay the property manager. But my philosophy is you should pay people to do what they do best so you can do what you do best. And
that's exactly right.
Property management is a tough deal.
It is a tough deal. And it's so important, if that's something that you've chosen to do, is that you screen the applicants very well, and you've got a system in place to screen those.
Right.
So a lot of times if you're going to list it with an agent to lease it out, we have those resources to be able to do background checks and credit screenings and stuff like that.
Right.
To be able to prevent, you know, putting felons and stuff like that in the properties.
Right. And so, you know, a lot of times people just put a for rent sign in front of their house and they kind of take whichever tenant looks like they can pay the rent. But the reality is if you just wait for the right tenant, you end up in a much better position.
That's right.
So definitely, you know, and the market right now for rentals, just like for sales, is really strong. So you can hold out for the right tenant.
Right, absolutely. You know, there's tons of investors in the market that are snapping up the houses and turning around and holding them for a period of, you know, 5 to 10 and even 20 years in some cases. And they're renting those properties out, and there's a high demand for rentals. There's so many people moving to Houston on a weekly basis. So yeah, there's a need out there. And every turn that you make here in Houston, you see new apartment complexes going up.
Everywhere. It's
yes.
Crazy. Yeah.
And the occupancy rate's very high right now. So rentals, they are a great investment.
So you can hold out for a good tenant. If you're going to rent your house, hold it out for a good tenant.
You can, but again, that just depends on if you have a note on that house that you need to pay. Yeah, if you're in a bind financially, then that's going to affect on how long you hold out for a good tenant.
Right. Oh, I guess that's true too. How do you know when it's the right time to sell? You know, there's a lot of things about the time of year or the market. Obviously, the market, the perception is the market is very strong in Houston, which it is. But what do you tell people when they ask you, when is the right time to sell my house?
Well, you know, many people are looking to sell during the summertime. You know, that summertime frenzy starts right in May and goes until about the end of August, beginning of September. And that's when you run into situations where you have multiple offers and there's just, you know, it's not uncommon to have your house shown 10 times a day. So So, but that's the time where people are moving, you know, teachers are out of school for the summer, their kids are out of school for the summer,
Right.
and so it's just more convenient to move during that time. Generally though, when people are looking for a house, if they're going to be looking for a really good deal, they know the seasons and they know to hold off. Only people who really need to sell their house is going to put their house on the market during Christmas time or during, you know, the holiday seasons.
Right.
So if that's something that you're faced with, if it's possible to put your house on the market during the frenzy, the buying frenzy, I would definitely recommend it. If not, you may take a hit in the price by putting it on the market during the holiday season.
What's the cutoff point? Like if I have a house ready, can I put it on the market November 1st? Is that too close to Thanksgiving? What is your opinion?
There are people, you know, since there's so many people moving into Houston, a lot of reloads are happening. So there will be people, those people will come any time of the year.
Right.
And they still need to buy just like everyone else. And because we have such a deficit of homes and listings on the market available, right now you're not seeing that impact as greatly as we did several years ago.
Right. So really, any time right now in Houston is a good time to sell a house.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. You know, one of the other things that I see is in our business, because we're always buying, selling, so we're always closing houses. And the fourth quarter of the year, that you know, November, December, October, those months tend to be some of our busiest months. And one of the reasons I see it the past couple of years is the homestead exemption. Doesn't the homestead exemption cut off at the end of the year? You have to file for it by December 31st, don't you, for the following year?
You have to live in that house by December 31st. Yes, of that year in order to file it for January. Yeah.
So there's often a push to get closings done in the last weeks of the year so that you can get that homestead exemption.
There is. And if you work with investors like a lot of us do, then you'll find a big push. You know, people are needing to make wise investments before the end of the year for tax purposes. So we usually November, December are some of our busiest months.
Yeah, they are. Well, what else can you tell us about when to sell your house?
Well, let's see.
Sell it when you need to sell it.
Sell it when you need to sell it. Exactly right. As far as seasons go, gosh, I'm drawing a blank.
Well, that's a really good start. So if you want to rent your house, you know, you can contact a good real estate agent like yourself. And how can we reach you?
CarringtonRealEstateServices.com.
Okay, so CarringtonRealEstateServices.com. If you want to sell your house fast and you don't want to list it or you don't want to fix it, or if you're a landlord that's tired of being a landlord, you can contact us at BigStateHomebuyers.com. But for the person that wants to rent their house out, and I agree, get yourself a good agent, make sure you screen the tenants, hold out if you can for the good tenant that's, you know, stable with the job they've had for a while, you know, and good rent history. And if you want to sell it, even though the seasons, the old thing is sell in the summer, you know, hold on in winter. If you're in Houston and you want to sell your house, it looks like any time is the time to do it.
Any time is a good time.
Great. So again, I'm Brian Spitz with Big State Home Buyers, and we are here with Amber Carrillo with Carrington Real Estate Services, and thank you very much for joining us.
You got it.
Great. Thank you.
You've been listening to We Buy Houses with your host, Brian Spitz, president of Big State Home Buyers. Don't forget to visit our website, BigStateHomebuyers.com, for more information on how to sell your house. We pay $500 for referrals, so tell your friends too.